Stibby dim day. We in global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep, and some informer friend we love like we in global. Bona fake friend and bona tape. We in global. We not promote them. We not support them. Look at them on the cheek. Come here represent for. We in global TV. Check it.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. Covid money, miss away in the year, look rat you. Use the youth, the money, waste my must have statue. Say me like a catch you, but me got enough, they got you. Take this print of money, got and say that it's not you. One day, the man above end up in my gut up. Too much eating at the kitchen, some fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% free.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption please.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, they rap and they down in our river. Member bowl only and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the sound man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat policeman.
It burn me.
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me.
How them a treat everyone.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again.
Global TV send another one. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, Global TV, I send them home. Yeah, man, this is Michael Buckley. I tell you, say, yo, the Global TV, yeah, man, me represent that 100%. Play the music, Global. Boom, shot.
The caged bird stand on the grave of his dreams. His shadow shouts and nightmare screams. His wings are clipped. His feet are tied. So he opened his throat to sing. Good evening. Welcome once again to another show. And this evening we're asking, is the caged bird Andre's wing clipped from free speech and social justice? Is the caged bird Andre singing with a fearful trill? But this evening, I will respond to a few things from Andre. But I want to first of all say, A wonderful good evening to my globalists. Welcome. Thank you very much. Good evening to all my globalists on TikTok. Welcome. Thank you for being here. This evening, we will also be talking about health and education, two of the most important thing and two of my passion areas. We will be talking about that. But I want to say thank you all for being here. I want to say a special good evening and big up to Miss Tanai from the Western Kingston area. You know yourself. Big up. Thank you very much. And I hope all is well. This evening, I know you are becoming fed up of me. Good evening, cuz. Good evening, Jamie Too Cool. Good evening, my cousin and my moderator. Good evening. Good evening to Debbie Jervis. Good evening to Beat and Teach. Good evening to Sunshine. Good evening, Head Teacher K. Good evening, Captain J. Good evening, Amazing Grace. Good evening, Jamaica Foodie. Good evening, Lorna. Good evening, is it Anaya? Good evening, Andre. And not the Stevens. Good evening, Greatness. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Perspective. Good evening, Mark. Thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your support. Good evening, Pamela. Good evening. Good evening, Sasha. Good evening, Merinda. Good evening, Dion. Dion, it's really good to see you here. Thank you very much for the support. Long time no see. Yes, good evening, Bernice. Thank you all very much for being here. I really, really appreciate your support. But I hear Andre came on today or last night or whatever talking some form of nonsense. I'll just play a bit of it for you because I'm not going to listen to much of him, but just a little bit, then I will respond to him.
You see all the toxicity that is out there on my name? I never built it. It's there. People are hell bent that my name must be destroyed. And students are not answering to it. You see, who won't believe can believe. I said this before and I will say it again. I am not for sale. I'll say it again. I am not for sale. If I was for sale, I would have had the Audi that I wanted. I would have had a nice apartment that I want. Come on, man. Come on, man. I would have had all the grand things and people would have known that would have had my visa for travel. Because all of these things were promised and I never took any of them. So see when people out there talking and carrying the rumors, make it make sense now, students.
That's the bit I want to respond to. Make it make sense. Make whatever I'm saying make sense. Of course, what I said makes sense. It was your very wording and your very admission. We heard it. We are not making up stories that you sold out. We heard you in the recording with Delano, Steve Wright. When he offered you the deal, Andre, and you say, I have no problem. If Juliet and Andrew want to meet me tomorrow, I am wholly up to it. So it makes sense, Andre. It's that you are not listening, or you are detouring or deceiving or distracting your audience. That nothing what me I say now makes sense. It is making sense because it's your conversation with your politician friend. I remember me, I go play more tonight. It's your conversation with your politician friend. So it makes sense. I didn't just come out and say it. I let the audience heard it out of your mouth. Stop it up backward talking. But I'm going to warn you. I see you going at Dana, and I'm going to warn you. For those of you who are here, the day when he went to Matilda's corner police station in August, I don't remember the exact date. When he went to Matilda's corner police station, I don't know if you all remember, before that he was doing a Facebook Live. And he was there, and you all didn't hear any problem around him in the house or the yard at the time. He started having a go at Donna publicly on Facebook. Them time me and Andre never really talk. Everything we in our bang around, but we did kind of say hi and bye for a few days. So he was on his Facebook Live and he was going at Donna on the basis that Donna was collecting donation for Miss Richie funeral. And when Missy said him get away, go away at it, me text him, me say, can you stop? He still a go on, he still a go on. Me text him, me say, stop, fucking stop. I mean, and if you remember, before he end the live, him say, me no want nobody send me no hope of expletive. Then him come off of the live, to come war with me, and me back him up with a ton load of bad word. This is when he must go shake round that young lady in the yard, and the mosquito bite him, and him run away, go round Matilda's corner police station with the knives, how woman mash up in face or whatever. But me see you attacking Dana cake, Andre, because you come out with your cake them like when you overfeed cow with molasses and them shit over black and you just drop plat. So me see you come out and attack the woman over a cake. Don't do it. I will mess you up even further. Stop the whole heap of bad mind. Even Miss Claudia where your arm up, Andre. You still run against Miss Claudia with the sheep business. Stop the bad mind, the open bad mind, the international begging, the open bad mind. It's plain and clear to see. How you going to compare yourself to Dana and Kate, Andre? No, we know you as no baker, we know you as cook. We know you as no baker. Enough of you and the bad mind now, man. If you want tag on in the cake war, tag on, but come on for the woman back. You will never be a Dana. You don't have the temperament to be a Dana. As intellectual as you are, there's a skill that takes you there. And you do not have it. Stop the whole heap of bad mind. Choose something. Cooking in the tenement yard with Andre. Brand it. Go for it. But don't get into the cake war. That's not your territory. This is all just bad mind. Why you not go focus on YouTube where you was doing good at? You were doing fine at YouTube. Why not go and focus on YouTube? How you gone in a cake war? How you get this up? Pure bad mind. You attacking Dana have nothing to gain from it, Andre. You going after Dana cake or you try to hitch yourself into the cake war has nothing to gain. It's pure bad mind while you're doing it. And at the same time, hypocritically, you're asking the woman to promote your over molasses fed cow shit. While you want to tear down hers as if you want to enter into a competition with her. Stop the bad mind. Remember, it was just quarter moons ago, everybody was holding you and throwing you up to God and heavens and everything. Why you just come down continuously, just a walla, a wind and a walla in a dot. So, yes, Anjay, we mash you up. Fair enough. Get up and move on. You mash me up, me get up, me move on. Why you lay down a walla? Why you lay down a walla? Get up and move on. One thing I've always learned about bad mind people, Andre, they are terrible with focus. Because they have to look at what everybody else is doing around them and want to do what everybody else is doing around them, and having sleepless night about other people's progress, and having sleepless night plotting how to bring down other people or how to ride over other people. This is why you cannot focus. And I'm saying to you, brand this, take it, run with it. Cooking with Andre Stevens, tenement yard style. Focus on that. Focus on that. I guarantee you it will work. But you cannot be all over the place. I walk on a bad mind and a grudge. Me hear you talk, say if you did sell out, you would have Hardy and all that. No, Andre, you don't have to sell out to buy Hardy. You work hard the money on YouTube with the Andre. You just take it by out in a fancies. In the thing that fancies you. You take it and buy out in a, you work hard the money with you. So not talk so you could have you would have hard if you did sell out. You've worked that amount of money. You work hard the money. Stop the bad mind. A bad mind bring you down. A bad mind bring you down. Because you just would do anything to get back in the JLP clique. So you sell out your Wall Street salary, just even for a promise. Because you don't notice all of the little galang in them what happened since Andrew shut up Andre, you know. 2 SSL galang in now, where Andre, which was probing SSL so well, because he having politician friend them a leak to him. You notice money throw to SSL. Now then we hear say CFO laptop gone. Of all the people, laptop who was allegedly or stagedly stolen, the chief financial officer of SSL. If we remember clearly on one of Gina Spanton's first appearance in court, did Gina Spanton not say she was stealing on instruction from higher up? Or not tell me if me wrong. Did Jean and Panther not say she was stealing an order from higher up? The chief financial officer locked up is one of those that has gone missing. But on a notice, since them shut up Andre, there's a lot of things going on. A lot of things going on. You see, the Prime Minister plan to shut him out. The Prime Minister is planning to introduce hate speech law. Watch where that is going. Censorship is coming. Remember, we're dealing with a dictator. He has shown us everything already that he is a dictator. Censorship is coming. The problem is Jamaicans at home don't seem to understand where we're at, where we're going, and what is coming from this government. Censorship is coming. Isn't it rather strange that the government would want to introduce a law like that at this point when we're going to a constitutional review? Keep your eyes open. But I'm going to ride straight into wholeness for Andre because Jamaica baby Trump and Jamaica grandbaby Trump. Want to notice after Andre sent out, Andre come doing research on the nation. And after them clip him wing and tie him feet and calm him down, Andre just a test the water. Because election a come. Remember 8 years ago, Andrew Holness make two glaring promises that stuck out with a lot of us Jamaicans. Two glaring promises. In his first 100 days, he's going to look at implementing a fixed term election. That was his 100-day lie that he told to the nation. He also promised the nation one of the safest crime plan that any government or any candidate for an election could have promised to the electorate. That in a country for over 40 years, with an escalating crime problem, under his leadership, we were going to be able to sleep with our windows and our doors open. No other government in our time has made such a glaring promise on crime fighting. 8 years on. 8 years on. We are yet to see an implementation of those two such glaring promise the Prime Minister made to us in his manifesto. To where we see the Prime Minister is going all over the place, wanting to implement crime strategy, not to fight crime because election is coming, because at no point the Prime Minister saw it fit to move Harris Chang or replace Chang or to come up with something over the last 8 years to fight crime other than state of emergency and a zone of special operations. Other than that, the Prime Minister not come up with no crime plan. All of a sudden, from where the Prime Minister, at 1 minute, him go create a new office for this and a new office for that. Another election lie again. The people must remember the other day at conference, the Prime Minister told you all an election lie. The Prime Minister said $40 billion over the next two budgets to fix your local roads. We're going to split it into two, so 20 billion over the first budget and another 20 billion and on the following budget. Why is the Prime Minister targeting your local road after 8 years? After 8 years, why is the Prime Minister now ready to fix your local road, to put billions in your local roads? Because local elections is next February 2024 is local election. So of course, that's another election promise from Wholeness. Are you gonna all let him just come with another empty promise, reap the vote, and then move on stealing? But the Prime Minister and his team at conference, I will take a break, and when I come back, I will look at the Prime Minister and his team at conference and some of the things they spoke about. We will be back.
Yeah, well, it is I, Bad Bass Alice, representing on behalf of Dancehall. This is the station of all time, Global TV, Brothers of all time, Alice in a rep, yeah, General of all time. Master with me say, yeah, but the people them love you bad. Fully informative, salute, like they have to live.
Thank you and welcome back to Global TV. And we are talking about the issues that plague our nation, the messy politics that we all have to endure, the messy politics that is preventing a lot of us in the diaspora from going home who wants to go home. And it is the reason why we look at these issues in order to bring awareness, awaken the mind of our people to make sure they become politically active at home. Because without being politically active, we're going to have the labor regime currently and worse unless we become politically active and demand the service that we pay them for. But you heard at the conference 2 weeks ago, they made some shining argument when it comes to healthcare, how much they are doing for healthcare and how they are refurbishing their local health centers and the usual promises and things that we get from these people. Olympic Gardens. Somebody call Andrew Wholeness, please. Good evening, Prime Minister Wholeness. Good evening, Prime Minister Wholeness from Spanish Town. Olympic Gardens Health Center. For those of you from Western Kingston, you would have known that Olympic Garden Health Center is in the Prime Minister's constituency. Am I wrong? Or Garden Health Center is in the Prime Minister's constituency. Now, the shining argument that the Prime Minister and his team brought to conference 2 weeks ago, how well they have done in healthcare, how they are rebuilding our healthcare. They even spoke particularly to Cornwall Regional Hospital, how much it was bigger and better. I'm still waiting to see if I get some images from Cornwall Regional Hospital. But the Prime Minister is running rather a makeshift camp health clinic in his constituency. Because I've got a few clips which I am going to play for a matter of public interest from Olympic Gardens Health Center, which is in the Prime Minister constituency. The Prime Minister who, him and his team spoke so bold and brilliant about how they're reforming Jamaica's health. And this is in the Prime Minister's constituency.
This is under intent.
Anybody have a reference for Joseph? Anybody have a reference?
Sorry, people, my computer is freezing. It looks like they don't want me to play them backgrounds. Tell me if you're hearing me or if there's any changes in the sound. But this is the health center in Andrew Holness constituency. Even though they told us last 2 weeks ago how well they have done in community health care, a country with one CT scan. But remember, Mr. Holness, we asked Holness and Tufton, it's not just Holness alone may I go after tonight, Holness and Tufton. And Nigel, we have the purse. We asked the other night for 14 CT scan, 14 MRI, 14 X-ray, and 14 dialysis machine. We want one all across the country. And we're not going to stop till we get it. And I'm advising the people of Jamaica. You need to stand up for something this coming election. Because the reason why they cannot release the Integrity Commission report, it's because it's going to show you how much of your money they've stole and propped themselves up. When you're voting this time, you need to vote not only for 25,000, 5 or 4,000 per year, for telling out the next generation. Don't make that choice this time, because look at the health center in the Prime Minister's constituency. It's more like a makeshift camp. It's not only that. I spoke to someone within that area, and they said you have to get there by 4:30 in the morning. Because if you get there by 8 o'clock in the morning, there's no slot left for anybody to get registered or get accepted. This is in the Prime Minister's constituency. We know we have a dire healthcare system across our entire nation. But you wouldn't, but you wouldn't think so, because of the Prime Minister constituency, he wouldn't make it look like a somewhere. But then again, if him come from down a Spanish Town, down a Cumberland Road, and him don't do anything for Cumberland Road, you think him a go care about people down a Western Kingston where all him want is them vote? But tonight, Oldness, I want to ask you some question. Angela Brown Burke, somebody send go call Angela Brown Burke, because your time soon come, and Nigel Clark too. Christopher Tufton, you are the Minister for Health. While we're on health, I'm going to jump over right into Bustamante Children's Hospital. We are all aware that there's an unfolding disaster at Bustamante Children's Hospital. Quite much worse than what we're seeing happening at the Olympic Garden Health Center in the Prime Minister's constituency. Whether Christopher Tufton has allocated the money to develop these institutions and it is not been spent on the ground, public accountability will tell us whether it is the government or the administrative teams within the ministry is at fault for not spending these money wisely. But back to the road, Mr. Holness, because you know, make me remember tonight. How much you and your friend them are going to get out of kickbacks and all of those things out of the 40 billion? Because we don't always talk the billion them big enough. Because a whole heap of talk about Cornwall, you know. And today they can't do our money still a plunging there. So how much kickback money you are going to get out of the billion? Jamaicans, keep your eyes on that 40 billions he promised for roads. But if you all don't hold him accountable, just like him get away with fixed election date and him get away with crime plan, he's gonna also get away with that. But I'm going to go back to BCH. We are aware that there's a crisis at Bustamante Children's Hospital. We're also aware that Shaggy and friends have donated 100 million to Bustamante Children's Hospital. Now, we would expect that with such a donation, I think if I'm correct, one of the things that Shaggy wanted that money to do was to extend bed facility, especially in the area of critical care for children. The government and BCH administration is in control of the money. There is a looming crisis at BCH rather, Bustamante Children's Hospital. There's a looming crisis at BCH to do with bed and capacity. Is the government or Bustamante Children's Hospital is going to come out and tell us how they're going to deal with this problem? If they have money to deal with the problem, if they don't have, where is the money that Shaggy donated? If that money is already spent up, can you give us a breakdown of how that 100 million was spent? There's too much lack of accountability in our country. Hence, there will not be any good governance. A part of good governance is openness, transparency, and accountability, something we don't see in our government. I spoke to a mother a couple days ago, and she said one of the worst experiences she's had is going to Bustamante Children's Hospital with a sick child. She got there 6 a.m. last Sunday morning. And she didn't leave the hospital until 12 midnight. For those of you who understand numbers, isn't that 18 hours that she spent at Bustamante Children's Hospital just at emergency care trying to get her daughter seen to? However, her daughter was being seen to about 18 hours. 18 hours from 6 a.m. in the morning. When I asked her, is it lack of staffing? She said, not really, because nurses were just there, sit down on them phone, and all people have called them just sit down on them phone. One of the problems that is mashing up our country and our system, we've got a very poor, nonchalant, disrespectful, nowhere to be seen customer service. Until our customer service, 18 hours from 6 a.m. in the morning until midnight with her daughter from 6 a.m. in the morning until midnight. But you don't hear me say, down at Olympic Garden, down at the Prime Minister Health Center, you have to be there from 4:30 in the morning to get seen. And if you do get seen, God help you. We are a nation in crisis. Our healthcare and our education is in crisis. And if we don't stand up and do something about it, God help us. Our education and our healthcare is in crisis. So the problem at Bustamante Children's Hospital is not just a government problem. It's also a human skill problem, an empathy problem, a sympathy problem. We are in crisis. Because even if the health professionals who soar to do everything to be first respectful to life and save life, don't give two hoots of what happened to you, then We are a nation in crisis. Before I go on to Nigel Clark, I'm going to play one little snippet of Nigel Clark tonight. But before I go on to Nigel Clark, I want to talk to Angela Brownberg. Because remember the whole I get big money with you, you know. Just down the road from the Prime Minister Dentup Hospital, there's a school that is in Angela Brownberg constituency. I don't know if you remember, so I have whole heap of voice note and hope of recordings between Una Andre when Una slide the people there. Coburn Gardens Comprehensive or High School, Miss Angela Brownberg. It's in your constituency. So whether you are the principal or the Minister of Education, Fable Williams, sorry, a lot of our schools across the country are in that very situation. But there are some things at the school which need urgent attention. There's no computer at Coburn Gardens, in the maths room, in the reading room, and in the computer room. We would have expected that from the COVID galang in them and all of them something there. We would have make sure those areas of the school which need to have laptop or computer and base, it is done so. We're aware that the children who are on the PATH program in that school receive them laptop, but the rest of children, it's a hit and miss. But the ones on the PATH program receive them laptop. Another issue at the school, Miss Brownberg, if the principal now address it, or if they don't have the money to address it, as the MP, you need to see what's going on there. Because one of the issues, there is no auxiliary room. There's no room there for auxiliary staff. One of the things that is happening at that school, should it start raining, the auxiliary staff have to go and stand or sit under a tree, or if it's that terrible, they have to go into a class that is in session. How difficult it is, Miss Brownberg, to make sure there's a room, a resting area for auxiliary staff to chill out, to put their things away. You can't just have people compound and have to turn up on that tree, so take them break on that tree. Ministry of Health, how are our schools running? Minister of Finance, is our school properly financed and to be properly resourced? Is our country not in crisis? Education pop down, healthcare pop down. Is our country not in crisis? Another thing that I realized having that conversation, and let me finish tell you we're short at the school. Desk and chair are also short. There's a at least shortage of 2 teachers, cause 2 empty classroom there, when nobody know there to teach the children them. There's a woeful lacking of all sort of resources in the school, to the fact where teachers have to be dipping in them pocket and take out money here and there to buy the little things them need to facilitate them class. What I'm asking of you, Miss Brownberg, as the MP for that area, just like how teacher take you out of them pocket, take it out of your pocket and make sure, say, the little bits and pieces them, you have enough fun with the 300% what we give you with there. Where you can go build a restroom down there, a one restroom with a little toilet on it. The auxiliary staff have an area for chill out for themselves and don't have to stand up in a rain when rain a fall. You come into the country to have a victory for the entire party. As the chairwoman of the party, you should be doing everything to show that the party is ready to take Jamaica in a different direction. You cannot promote pop down school as a former teacher or still a current teacher, Miss Brownberg. You cannot promote pop down school and then you're vying to come into leadership of our country. It's time that we put our politicians to work. The issue we're having in our country is because we are yet to put our politicians to work after election day. We seem to just let them get on with it, regardless of the negative backlashes we get from it. We just allow them to get on with it. It is so not right. So Miss Brownberg, because I don't know my finger touches by the children. But sorry, something I found out while having this conversation. When you know say COVID still a keep. Yes, the Prime Minister still a keep COVID in a school because we may think that school and classroom and school activities back to normal. No, not so. I am told that the children are not yet back to normal activity and normal breaking at daytime because, as come to the government, COVID still a key. Does anyone in Jamaica know about this if COVID still a key? Because Jamaica Prime Minister have our education institution under the influence that COVID still a key. Our education and our healthcare is in crisis. But I'm going to play a little conversation with Nigel Clark and Andre Stevens. It's up to me how far me play it go. But when I come back after playing that, I want to ask Andrew Holness a few questions. Listen, Andre and him friendly friend. TikTok, I hope you can hear as well.
Hello?
So, question, greetings, Minister.
Hello, evening, sir.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Sound like you're tired, man.
Oh, God,
I realized that from you had that nice talk with Oral Tracy, him just toned down on the government, man.
But I've been watching him, so I've been watching. I don't. That's your observation.
From the time we spoke and you called him toned down, man, him doubled down big time. No, I never called him minister. You know that when we spoke, he said, Andre, I'm gonna have that talk with him. And from that, and him come back on him TikTok and say from Nigel and him talk, you know, understand. From that boy, he has been so understanding to the government. I wonder what he was promised. I just provoking
All
him.
I know is that after people start come down and they say, what? If why is what's the word?
No, I don't think he was backtracking from that end. He backtracked after you spoke to him. He wasn't getting any backlash from the people. It was more a case that when you spoke to him, he had a total dispensation. It wasn't from the people. It wasn't the sentiments of the people, because the sentiments of the people made him viral. So it's the moment that he said that he spoke with you, Minister. After he said that he spoke with you?
Yeah.
Oh. And you recognize that the people that start saying that him look like him is a sellout. Boy, it's sad though, Nigel. Uno really in a one predicament, you know. Who that? Who is who now?
I'm being light here, so don't get me serious, but I'm just being light. Just like I'm saying, no, you new blogger, new media.
The new media.
New bad boy.
Whoa, Minister.
And see, when we see the viral, Jesus Christ, is where you get about the company show.
What we do? I never give him anything to do.
It's how you get to that.
It cannot be my. No, I never asked him to say that. You can't say that.
No, it's how you get the meaning. Your program gone metrics first. Man say for your program, sir?
I will not repeat.
Huh?
Well, you know that my platform is effective. But, Minister, the discussion about Paul Alone extending, should that never happened?
Well, we're not talking about that. That's not what we've been here now.
Yeah, because that now new talk.
It had superseded that. Take the news away.
I'm not glad for that. I'm not glad for that. But you and your boss is so happy for that, because when you screech up Rocky Mead, Powie, and give him PS. But him never served no time in the public service. Him never served no time in the public service to become PS. And you know that too, because you have a weak. But then, you know, because you have a weak, inept, fool opposition, and they can just slide those things through. And what you guys did to Rowan James, Minister, I will never forgive you for it.
No, that's not the political director.
So who is it then?
That's the police high command.
The police high command cannot be separated from Andrew Holness, because Andrew Holness rules the police high command.
No.
Minister, I want you to look in the streets, right, and ask everybody, what is their perception of the high command and the leadership of this country? And I'm sure the sentiments, just ask your driver to make you drive around and hear how people describe the police commissioner as a send-out boy for the prime minister. Okay? And if those sentiments are echoed, then people are not of the view that they're separate. People see them as one carrying out the duty of another. Minister, when you lose the trust of the people, you know, I show the opposition are fuckery, you know. I know that, you know.
Man, why don't we come to bad news? Well, you know, I like this that the government did or that the government did.
But there's not much to celebrate, Minister, when you're Prime Minister there in an airport.
You just step on the heart down on the negative issues.
No, I'm just presenting the facts to the people.
And when you try to be negative, you create more on you. Huh?
But I create the news in such a way that people can still accept it. Would you agree?
We can accept the menace of society thing, though.
But she's surely a menace.
That one is kind of harsh.
She's a menace, but I wouldn't say to her, go suck at. I would never say that. That's not my style. Because you know that I'm very principled certain way. I'm a granny grow me good.
Very principled, yes.
You never see. That's why I asked him to pull back. You saw in that I asked him several times because I was grown a particular way. If my grandma see me, she must say that is my grand picnic. Right? So if that is the views of another man, that's the views of another man, but it's not necessarily. If that man decides that is how he wants to represent his views, I have to still accept that man's view. But I still can disagree to it. Agree. But the point is that the frustration of how the DPP has altered the justice system is a discussion a lot of people are having. Even when you and she didn't Bangarang what day, I know. It was very much what she has said to you and you had to like to shut up or whatever. That was a big Bangarang, you know. But because of the whole EPA Bangarang, people are saying, oh, they'll never get that. You get me? There's a lot happening in Nigeria. When your Prime Minister took almost 2.5 weeks to respond to the whole allegations of him in the airport. I know what happened to him in the airport. So when I'm going to come and double down on that today, he must be aware that he just set up himself. Because how can you not identify the clerical error? Look at his body language and his posturing. Remember that I'm a student of politics. Remember that I'm a student of diplomacy, Nigel. That is what I went to school for. So when your position is going to say, oh, there was nothing like that, and you're going to say, oh, let us stand for the US counterpart, but it was an error on the Jamaica's fault. How then could that error happen and no one is fired with the ego that Andrew Holness has? How then has Camilla Johnson been so silent? The issue is not about the LGBTQ community, and you know this, Minister. The issue is when you, when Camilla and Andrew went into that meeting with Miss Waters and what's her name? Yvette Clark, and they made their position that those waivers and so forth, the bauxite levies need to stop with the Chinese. Minister, I'm a student of international relations, you know that. And then after you came back from the US, the 31st, 14 days after I studied, you're positioning in the parliament that no further Chinese investments in this country. Remember, I'm a student of international politics, Minister.
Who said that?
Well, that is what Nationwide carried.
No, I didn't say no further Chinese investment. Because we want all kind of investment. Chinese, Japanese, German, English, French. What I said was that we're not going to borrow. We don't do this high loan projects that we've been doing since the global financial crisis. That's what I said.
Okay then, but the point is,
so we're doing Montego Bay bypass, and we don't have a loan from the Chinese doing out of period money.
Okay then, but the positioning from that meeting with Miss Waters, and when I looked at a video that she spoke about the bauxite levies, and she said she want back her bauxite. You know the US is concerned about the whole bauxite thing in this country. I know the Chinese have You know about all of that China thing with the bauxite. You know the US is not pleased about it.
What kind of thing with the bauxite?
With China taking over UC Rosal, with China wanting to go into...
No, man. Yeah, remember China is disco. No, UC Rosal.
Yeah, but remember, so they took over UC Rosal and called it Undalco, didn't they?
No, man. Windalco is the Russian. Windalco is UC Russell.
So Windalco is still operating in Jamaica?
Yeah, man. Windalco is a Russian.
And with the US sanction, they still operating in Jamaica?
Yeah, man. Could you remember, Andre? UC Russell is owned by a company called EN Plus, which is a London company, a Western company on a London Stock Exchange of New York Stock Exchange. The Russian guy, Derek Pascal, only owned a large minority of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well,
because the team with the US.
Well, I appreciate that clarity.
The sanctions, they had to put 5 Americans on the board. So the chairman of UC of EN Plus now, somebody who was like Undersecretary of State in the Bush administration.
Oh.
So they've been deep fans, if you can understand what I mean.
Oh, so them have US people on the board to just neuter it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Including the chairman.
Okay.
So the business interests come together and say, you know what, this bullshit stuff between Russia and America cannot stop us make money. So I'm find a way to kind of neuter it and get out of the picture in terms of making decisions and so on.
Okay. I hear you. Even though we're not friends, we're friends at some point. Even though you treat me very bad, but I leave that alone. Then the whole the issue with the PSOJ, I saw to control everybody.
No, sir. The IPAC thing was really bad. That really horrified a lot of people.
So on a plan to use the powers to debar him?
No, not for what else.
This is Global TV. The program is Calamity Junction. The reason for this program is to expose the hypocrisy and the double standard of the Andre Stevens we know or we knew on screen. It is for you when I play a recording to assess the information you heard based on the wording of the information, not on your feelings towards myself or Andre Stevens, but on information on an stance, the social justice stance. Contrast with what you've heard. I want to ask our criminal-minded Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of Cockburn Pen, the Member of Parliament, rather, for Cockburn Pen. I want to ask the Prime Minister a few questions before I end this evening. Are you, on your Holiness, affiliated to any dons or gang members? I ask the question again. Are you, Mr. Holness, affiliated to any gangs or dons? Who is Pilly Blacks, on your Holiness? Who is Pilly Blacks? Have you ever attended any party, Mr. Holness, at Pilly Blacks Plaza? Does anyone here know who Pilly Blacks is? Or where Pilly Black's Plaza is? Is Pilly Black's Plaza, Mr. Holness, quite close to the Olympic Gardens police station? What kind of party, Andrew Holness, have you visited at Pilly Black's Plaza? Who is Pilly Blacks? Is Pilly Blacks a Don, Mr. Holness? Let me also ask you this. Can you affirm or confirm or deny if you have ever visited the funeral of any Don in Cockburn Pen? Or if not, have you visited the funeral of a family member of a Don in Cockburn Pen? Who is Pilly Blacks? What is your association, Mr. Holness, with Pilly Blacks? Have you ever seen gangsters, Mr. Holness, at Pilly Black's Plaza, if you've ever parted there, with their guns in their hand in the air while the Prime Minister and his entourage is there? It is important that we ask our Prime Minister this question, because we are in a country where crime, especially gun crime, continuously escalate. And if the Prime Minister's friend with dons or gangs and is attending funeral of gang members, or is partying in a well-known area where gang member party with their gun openly in front of police because the community is run by a don, it is important that we ask our Prime Minister, who is Pilly Blacks? What is your association with Pilly Blacks? Have you ever attended party at Pilly Black's Plaza? Who, Mr. Holness, is Pilly Blacks? It is something for the Prime Minister to answer. And Prime Minister, please think carefully. Even though you're answering a question, but please think carefully. Can you confirm or deny that you have or have not attended the funeral of a don or the family member of a don? Can you confirm or deny that you have not attended parties at Pilly Black's Plaza? It is important, if our Prime Minister is walking hand in hand with gang members, if gang members are freely wielding their guns in front of our Prime Minister, somebody is saying him own the plaza at Olympic Way. Mr. Holness, who owns Pilly Black's Plaza? Does Mr. Holness have any financial interest or dealings with Pilly Blacks? How often does our Prime Minister attend Pilly Black's Plaza for parties. Have our Prime Minister ever encountered gang members at Pilly Black's Plaza, knowingly with their guns in their hand or on their hip in the Prime Minister's presence? If we have a Prime Minister that is involved with criminal openly, while we are in a country where crime is, especially gun crime, is continuously escalating, we must ask questions, because when we go to the poll, it is important to know that we are not only voting for scammers and robbers, but we're voting for criminals and those who support gang members and people who is destroying our country. Is our Prime Minister involved with gangs and dons? Who Prime Minister is Pilly Blacks? Have you, Andrew Holness, attend Pilly Black's Plaza for parties? Have you, Mr. Holness, ever attended the funeral of a don or a family member of a don in Cockburn Pen? This is where we leave it tonight on Global TV. Does anyone want to call? I don't want anyone to forget that this is an interactive program. This is the people's program. You can always call in to air your views. The lines are open. The numbers are on the screen. Feel free to interact, give your feedback, your viewpoint, and share your information. I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. But the Nigel Vice not done yet today. You'll get about half of the one tonight. And both Andre Stevens and Nigel Clark would know that I can supply much more of those. Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness ought to be aware that an election is coming. I'm not going to stand by and let any of you go to the poll with lies fooling the people. I will expose any of you at my own will if the people's work is not done. So let me tell you this. Like Delana Steve Wright said to Andre Stevens, you now got leverage over the Holnesses and the government. Big up yourself, Cousin Marina. Long time no see, long time no speak. Big up, big up. Like Delana Steve Wright said to Andrew Holness, to Andre Stevens, you now have leverage. Use it against the Prime Minister. Use it against the government. Me even give you a job, so me pull you in closer. Andre, have provided me those leverage. I'm willing to use them in the interest of the people. So Miss Brown Burke, attend to that ailing situation in your school. It is in the interest of our children. Likewise, Favor, you are the Minister of Education. Nigel, you hold the purse. And on the health issue, Christopher Tufton, don't think you're going to have it easy. Because remember, there's a lot of you cowardly plotting against Andrew to protect your seat at the next general election. Because a lot of you are walking on thin ice. with the belief that with his unpopularity, a lot of you stand a chance of losing your seat. And a lot of you are plotting left and right at the moment. But be aware of my fingers. Let it be about the people and not about you all emotion. If Miss Brownberg wants to show the people as an educator that she really cares, go around the school in your constituency. Look at the problem that exists. Go back to the government and the opposition and explain that these problems need to be addressed. If they can't, Miss Brownberg, just like teachers are going into their pocket on the meager salary that you all are paying them, they're going in their pockets to assist students and assist in whatever apparatus they need in their class to conduct their lesson. I'm sure Miss Brownberg, with a 200, 300 salary uptake, you certainly can stock a van of the supply you as an educator know that is needed in those schools, particularly Coburn Garden School. Do something for your constituency. It is what we put you there for. But if a prime minister has failed to implement his 100-day manifesto pledge, are we going to vote for Andrew Holness and the 40 billion? He suddenly wake up and plan to invest into our local roads because we're less than 12 weeks away, perhaps, from a local election. Are we really going to sit by and let our country slip into a dictatorship? We see what Andrew and Andre has done to this country, because I do believe that Andrew Holness had sent Andre out to do a research, an obedience exercise on the nation, because within the time Andre came out boosting us up, boosting the country up, it was the same time the prime minister was becoming a dictator. At the same time, the prime minister was fast militarizing the country, while Andre was fast going around testing the obedience of the people, infiltrating the People's National Party, infiltrating the Maroon community, and really have us all hooked on narrative. If you notice in the recording just now, he spoke to Nigel about how he sold a particular news to the audience for them to have it. This is how Andre fooled all of us. A lot of people are saying, how could Wayne be saying that when Wayne is a part of everything, was a part of everything? You might be right in some instant, but look at it in context. None of these people who Andre have recorded and have spoken to, I've never speak to any of these people. Do not have number for any of these people. Never have a conversation with them. But Andre make the story out he was coerced or whatever or advised to do it. Our nation is in crisis. When your education is in crisis, you're heading for a country of a lot of problem. High unemployment, low growth, crime, you name all the things that can come from an economy that lacks education. The health of the people is the highest form of law. But when you look at our country, our national health system is a death camp. And in no way, by no means, we have a legal system that we can even approach to get redress when there's issues of malfunction, maladministration, malpractice, negligence, all of these things that we see happening in our health care that cost a lot of our relatives' life. It is at the same time when all of these things were happening, Andre is becoming more popular. Andre is becoming more of a dictator. And all sort of tests and trial, but suddenly, partner jaw has collapsed. And Andre is just spending out our money to prop up SSL, while even when them have SSL under investigation and under security, robber can go there and take the CFO laptop. People who work with laptop, it is weird, very weird, for people who have them work laptop, left them laptop at work. It is not the purpose of a laptop in a work context to leave laptop at work. So me don't understand, because them still functional, because the government have them in administration and the Financial Services Authority administrate them. Normally, them high-class people there, yeah? Them work laptop, go with them everywhere them a go. The reason being is because even a simple email, you're not allowed to answer on your private email dealing with your company issue or organization. Sorry. Sorry about that. So it's weird to see the chief financial officer laptop, if it's a working thing, it not there with him at all time, because when you have a working laptop, anything where you fit do at work, whether be at home, on the go, or whatever, that's the purpose of having a working laptop. How come the CFO laptop, the home, the in a bush? Because can't which part a SSL building where under 24-hour security get robbed. But since I've been on one call and go no view, may I go on my bed, but I really, really appreciate your support. Thank you all for being here. It was a pleasure. If anyone wants to call, the number is on the screen, 07956 907 089 or 0755 118 3131. And if you're calling internationally, you know it is +11 44 7956 907 089 +11 44 755 118 3131. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Good evening, Adrian Anderson. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you all. I'm going to hop off to my bed now. I've had a long working, tired day. I usually doesn't work on Saturdays, but I did a shift today. So thanks to my globalists for being here and be so dedicated. But as I said to you, the information you heard tonight between Andre and Nigel is for you to assess. And when assessing the information, put your personal feelings aside and judge it on the information you've heard. This was your favorite program, Calamity Junction, and I am your producer, Wayne. TikTok, thank you very much for being with us. I really appreciate you. You all have been building up and growing over here. Please send up some likes for us as well. This is the place where social justice resides. We will call out corruption, whether it is the professor vlogger, or it is the government, or those in our civil service. I want to thank you all, both on YouTube and TikTok, for being here. I don't think you will see me tomorrow night. I will certainly be back on Monday night. Be good, and if you cannot, be very careful. This is Global TV. Thank you very much, and good night.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep, and some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.